Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So in the previous video, we have discussed about the predicate functional interface of Java 8. Here in this video, we are going to discuss about the supplier functional interface of Java 8. So first of all, what we are going to do here is we are going to discuss about the supplier functional interface, what it is and which single stack method it holds and what its return type is. So everything we are going to discuss, and then after that, practically, we are going to create a class where we'll try to implement the supplier and then see how we can call the single stack method of the supplier interface in the class, how we can override it, and then we'll try to move toward the Java 8. So with the help of lambda expression, how we can implement the supplier single stack method, and then we'll see what is the use case of the supplier in the stream API. So let's get started for that. So let me try to go to the slide where I have discussed about the supplier. So what is supplier? Supplier is nothing but it is a kind of functional interface which has a single stack method get and its return type is T. So you can say that these interfaces don't take any input but produces a result. So you can see the single stack method that supplier holds is get, and it is not taking any input here. But still it has a return type and its return type is T. So you can say that supplier produces a result type of T and it has a single stack method get and its return type is T. So this is about the supplier. Now what we'll do, we'll try to go to the IntelliJ, and then there I will try to practically create a class and implement the supplier there and try to override the get method, and then we'll move toward the Java 8 lambda. With the help of lambda, we'll try to implement this get method, and then we'll see the practical use cases of the supplier in the stream API. So please allow me to move to the IntelliJ. So here, let me try to go there. And let me create one class called supplier functional interface demo. Okay, and let me try to, first of all, let me try to walk you through the supplier. So go to the supplier. Here you can see this is a functional interface and it has one single stack method get and its return type is T. Okay, so this is how the supplier is looking like. It is not taking any input, still it is returning something, and that something is of type T. Okay, now come here to this class, and first of all, what we'll do, we'll try to implement, like this is the traditional way how we implement the interfaces, same way we are going to do here, and then later on we'll move to the Java lambda expression. So sorry, we need to implement the supplier here. Let's say type is integer, so we can only return the integer type from the get methods. So let me try to implement the get method here, and you can see that this get method is here and we need to override it, and its return type is, you can see it is integer. The integer that we have provided here in the supplier, the same return type will get from the get method of the supplier. Now what we need to do, we need to override according to our need. We can override this get method. So let me try to override it. Let's say we are returning the number 100. Okay, and now let me create the main method here and how we can call this get method. So we need to create the object of this class and then directly we can call with that object. So let's say demo new supplier function interface demo. With the help of demo, we are going to call the get method, and this get method is returning an integer. So here you can create a integer variable. Okay, so let's say it is var, and now you can print it out. Okay, and run it and then see. Let me try to maximize it. Here you can see in the console we are getting the 100 here. So without providing any input, still it is returning the value, right? And that value is of integer type here. So this is about the get method, and this is about the supplier traditional implementation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this implementation from here, and with the help of Java lambda expression, we are going to implement this get method, which is a single abstract method. Okay, so either you can remove it from here, or let me try to remove it, and let me try to comment out this piece of code. And now what we need to do, first of all, how we write the how we implement the single stack method of the functional interfaces with the lambda expression. In the previous video, I already have addressed that. First of all, if you are going to implement a single abstract method using the lambda expression, then you need to convert that single abstract method in the form of anonymous function. So that is what we are going to do here. So first of all, let me again go to the supplier. So here it is opened, and copy this single abstract method, come here to the class, paste it out, and while you are going to make this anonymous function, you need to remove the name of the method and the return type, or you can say its modifier. So now it is an anonymous function. You need to provide the lambda expression here, and then you have to provide the lambda body. Okay, let me try to put it in the main method here. Okay, in the body, let's say you want to return something, so just return the number. Let's say it is 100. Okay, and here what you need to do, you need to create the supplier. Let's say the supplier type is integer, so it will supply an integer out of this lambda implementation, or method implementation, you can say. So let's say we have created the instance of the supplier, and we are assigning this whole lambda expression to the supplier instance. Okay, and this implementation, this lambda implementation of this get method is returning 100. Okay, now with the help of supplier, what we are going to do, we are just going to call the get method, and let's say it will return an integer. So just going to create a variable integer here, and then hold the value that we are getting from the get method of the supplier. Now what you can do, you can print out this variable and then just run it again. And here you can see still we are getting the 100. If you will change this value to 1000 and run it again, you will get it to the 1000, you can see. So what is happening here is, first of all, we are going to take the single abstract method, and then we are converting that single abstract method in the form of anonymous function, and then we are applying the lambda expression here, and then we are providing the lambda body. In the body, we are going to do the implementation that we want to do in this method, right? When we are going to override, when we are implementing the supplier in the traditional way, what we are doing, we are overriding this get method, right? And in the implementation, we were providing that its method is returning an integer, and let's say the number is 100. Similarly, we are going to do here, and in the body, lambda body, we are going to implement the same thing, right? That is what we are doing here. And with the help of this supplier reference, we are calling the get method, and then we are holding that value in the integer variable and then printing it out. Okay, now this is how, with the help of lambda expression, when we can implement the single abstract method of the supplier functional interface. Now here you can see we have only one statement, so we can remove this body here, open and close curly braces, and we can remove the return as well, and come here, and still it will work fine. So let's say rerun it again, and then see, you can see we are still getting the 1000. Now let's say you want to supply some other type. Let's say this time we are supplying the integer here, right? Now let me try to change it to the string, and let's say we are supplying the string here. Let's say it is some name like Ram. Okay, and the return type is a string, so we need to change our variable type also to a string, and then we are simply printing it out. Now if you run it, you will get the RAM here, you can see. So this is how you can implement the single stack method, which is get method of the supplier functional interface. Now the time to see the use case of the supplier in the stream API. So let me try to show you one scenario. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a list of the integers, okay, and there we'll try to convert that list into the stream, and then we'll see where we can see the use case of the supplier. Okay, so let me try to create that list here. So let's say it is list of integer, and let's say al equal to new. Okay, so here we are not going to create array list. What we can do, we can directly call the array.as list, and in the list we can provide the values here. So let's say we are providing the values till 5, 6, okay, till 6 only, and put a semicolon here, import this list. So we have a list of integers from 1 to 6. Now we are going to convert that list into the form of a stream, and then what we can do, we can call the find any, let's say, and then let's say like this stream does not have any value. Okay, it is going to find the value from this list. Like we have the list, it contains the value 1 to 6, and we are converting that list to the stream, and we are finding any value. If anything is not there, in that case what we need to do, we need to supply something. So let's say there is an option called or else get, and you can see this or else get method is taking the supplier as an input. Okay, so let me try to call this method, and here you can provide the supplier, and then it is good. Now before going to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go inside this method and show you. So you can see this is a method, and it is taking supplier as an input, and it has some return type of t. Okay, so what we are going to do here is as of now we have the values inside the list, but what is the case when we don't have any value? So when we are calling find any, it is not finding anything. Then in that scenario it will supply something here. Okay, so what we are going to supply, let's say we are going to supply 100 if anything is not found. But directly we cannot supply 100 here, right? What we need to do, we need to provide the supplier here. So in the above example, okay, this is the string. Let me try to comment it out and create a supplier here, and that supplier we can directly pass here, and if anything is not there in the list, it will supply that value to us. So here let me try to create one supplier of integer type, let's say supplier, and it is supplying, let's say 200. Okay, and we are not going to do anything here. We can directly call that supplier in this method. So copy it, paste it here. It will return an integer. Let's say we are going to create a variable, okay, of integer type, and then we are going to print it out. So let me try to print it, and then run it, and then see. So as of now you can see we are able to find any value from the list, and it is picking any of them. So it is picking first one, which is 1, and it is returning here. What is the scenario when nothing is there in this list? So let me try to remove everything from the list and then rerun this again, and then see. So we have removed everything. If nothing is there, then it is picking up this or else, and it is going to the supplier, and this supplier is returning 200. That is what we are getting here in the response. So this is the one use case of the supplier. You can go to this or else get method, and you can provide the supplier here, and it will give you that supplier result. Now in the place of this, what you can do, you can directly copy this lambda implementation and come here, paste it out. Let me try to comment this piece of code and provide that implementation directly here and then rerun this, still you will get the same result. You can see we are able to see the 200. If you want to change this value, you can change it to 2000 and then rerun this and then see. You will get the 2000 here. So this is how the supplier is working. And these are the scenario. Like we have discussed about the traditional implementation of the supplier functional interface. We have overridden the get method. And then we see how we can use the lambda expression to implement this get method of the supplier functional interface. And then we see one of the use case of the supplier in the stream API. Okay. So this is about the video, guys. In the coming video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain you the functional interface, which is function. Okay. Or you can say that we are going to explain the functional interface. Okay. So if you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.